I've been having so much fun playing Fortnite, I cannot believe that it's a free game. Please, if you don't have it yet, get it, download it, check it out. This is my first recording here. I finally got my PC set up so that I can record directly from my PlayStation 4. So we're gonna go ahead and zoom through here as we fly over Retail Row and end up in this little trailer park. And this is one of my favorite places to check out because there are so many resources. So if you want to pick up a lot of steel, especially for the end game, this is the place to go. So unfortunately, sometimes you can land here, and I don't know, have you guys had this where you land and there are no guns, no weapons, nothing great? I got 2 healing potions here, which is really good, but I need to get a gun just in case somebody lands here. It looks like I'm just picking up more ammo, and I'm running all over the place. Finally get a gun, which, you know, the 3-shot burst assault, it's okay. The white one is not so hot, so I'm gonna probably go ahead and swap it out for the silencer here, but I'm still running around. I haven't hurt anybody, so I'm not real concerned about getting those potions down, but I know, you've got to take the time when you can to get those potions down, because somebody's going to jump out at you. So I'm just going to start grabbing some resources here. And the funny thing is, you'll watch me destroy every single one of these little little trailer homes or RVs and pick up a ton of steel. It's really great, like I said, for endgame. And then I don't ever end up using it, which is not great, but that's fine. We love steel. So finally gonna pop a couple of those potions here and get up to 100, a really great place to be. And around this time, I like to swap out my guns, make sure that everything is where I think it should be. I'm not too well outfitted here at this point, but I feel like I'm ready to go. There's nothing more to get here, so we're gonna head out, check this one last thing, and pick up some ammo. One thing to mention if you're newer to this game is if you do not have a nice set of headphones, it is time to go get them. This game really depends on sound, and people are going to sneak up on you. You're going to want to know if they're above you, below you. You can hear shots from the distance. So if you haven't heard it yet, you must wear headphones for this game. Everybody's probably has a good pair of headphones by now, but the thing is, I had an older set of Turtle Beach, and I went out and bought the latest and greatest, and I've been super happy with them, except that the rocker buttons, like, I'm hitting them all the time. I hit it, and it turns to a different mode, and it doesn't sound right. It's turning Bluetooth on all the time. I wish that you could disable every button once you have your setup right for the headphones. So that's the one thing that is kind of like, come on, you should have figured this out. But oh well, you can't get everything right at the first go round, and hopefully they'll come out with some kind of an update that fixes that. So you can see me collecting a bunch of steel here. As I said, if you watch during the game, I don't think I laid down one piece of steel. Maybe I do. But to be honest, I always gather these resources, and then I find myself using wood all the time because I don't want to waste a resource that is more robust like steel or brick. But why am I collecting all this and not using it? I do not know. If you can explain to me. Did you guys do this too? It's something funny. I don't know. It's the precious resources you don't want to waste. So that's the way I am. Every once in a while, you can see I just popped up the map, and I cannot tell you how important it is to make sure that you are close enough to get to that next circle. Many times, you know, you're wandering around, nobody's around, you're picking up those chests, and you're wondering, man, why is no one around? This is crazy. And then you look up, and you see, oh, no one's around because I'm about to die in the storm. That's why. So generally, I will try and stay out of the storm entirely unless I have a full med pack, which those are great to have. I don't feel so concerned about the first couple of storms. If I have one of those, I can stop way into the storm, use it, and then continue on. But it's kind of a waste to blow one of those just because you got caught in the storm when you can use it at endgame. So you can see I'm getting closer to the first ring here, and one of the things about that little trailer park is usually you'll run into 1 or 2 people, and it's pretty secluded, so I'm not sure if people don't go there because there's not a lot, but I always do. See this now? I always love to wait for somebody to be running directly away from me. And that's the easiest way to kind of surprise somebody and lay a lot of bullets into them without them being able to turn around and figure it out. Obviously, if you sneak up behind somebody, that's the name of the game, but if you can get them running directly away from you, that is I find, the easiest kill in the game. So I'm just checking for more resources here and more bullets. Just, you know, even if I'm not going to be using them, I always pick up bullets. It's sort of like if somebody's super, super good with a pistol and you pick up that ammo, you're preventing them from later using that ammo on you. And that's something that you want to avoid. So here I'm just going to resort again. I do this often. When I'm trying to pick stuff up after I've killed somebody, I'm always in a rush and I drop whatever, I pick up whatever. This is something that I need to get better at in planning as you're running up. And you know what you want to do. It's just in the moment, especially somebody pops out and they start firing at you, and the next thing you know, you're doing all sorts of strange things. You're building where you shouldn't be building. You've brought up a potion. You've brought up whatever. You have a great idea of what's going to go down, but when somebody surprises you, anything happens. And I tend to do the weirdest stuff. I'll put some clips up of me getting surprised sometimes. I watch these guys. They get surprised. They have built a 3-story tower for themselves in under 20 seconds. And whenever I attack somebody like that, I think to myself, you know what? I'm out of here. Forget it. This guy can have his tower. Why did I even attempt to kill this guy? Hopefully somebody else comes along and hurts him bad enough for me to actually be able to get a shot off. I don't know who this person is, but how do they do that? Do you guys, when you first start playing this game, have you taken a lot of time, like go off in the middle of nowhere, knock down a bunch of trees, and just build some stuff? Because I took a couple of games just to take my time and build and figure out how to edit, you know, all of these things I see, especially in the end game. If you can edit a little door and pop out of nowhere and they don't know where you are, it's amazing. Hilarious, too, because I've seen some people pop open a window and they're looking straight down, they close it up, it's a firefight. It's amazing if you really know what you're doing with building, but you really have to get used to it, especially on a console, because you can only do a certain amount of things here. So you can see this guy kind of surprised me, but because I have nice headphones, I heard him right before he was able to actually sneak up on me. So I heard him walk in, and sometimes I'm actually covering up some of the loot that I don't want to pick up because I don't want somebody else to get it, and I don't actually need it. So you can see I've got enough medkits there to last me a while, so I don't need more than 3. You can't actually pick up more than 3. But you'll see I end up building this whole thing, and then I go back and because I've used one of my medkits, I want to carry 3, and I know there is 1 left over there. And I'll run into somebody here shortly, and you hear them walking around, you're not sure exactly where they are, you're peeking around corners. I like to try and swing the camera around and really check things out before I go through a doorway or an opening, especially when it gets to, right now we're at 20 people. So you can see there's a tower out there, somebody's hanging out. I don't exactly want to go over there, and I'm already hearing gunfire, so what I want to do is just kind of peek out and get the lay of the land. And look, I check this out, I see somebody running, and then sort of hide and just swing it around. I don't know what this guy's doing, so we're just gonna go out and pop him with a few, and that was an easy kill. I mean, usually you're gonna hit somebody and they're gonna jump around, they're gonna try and build something, but it looks like we caught them off guard. And now there's a bunch of stuff laying all over looking sparkly there, and you know that is going to draw somebody's attention. So I'm going to move out. I think I see something that I want, so I'm going to check things out. But first, you know, you always want to survey, especially if you move to a new area. You want to check things out, you know, see where you're at, see if anything's been built, see if any doors are open, things like that. Check behind you, and I'm a little bit worried about that tower. And here comes somebody, comes along, potions, he's all sort of outfitted, and, you know, a little bit of poor shooting, and all of a sudden, he's got a tower built. So I'm going to lose some of these grenades. He's going to come out and try and fight. And see, if you look what happened there, I did not build, but he thought I was building, so he hid. And that can kind of save you, because if you... Usually, they'll try and shoot it down or whatever, but if they're not actively shooting at you, you can pretend to build something and then not build it, and you've got a clear shot at them, and they don't know it. So here's one of those times where I get surprised. You can see, initially I try to build something, and I do end up building, but I just get surprised. I'm not sure, I'm jumping around, I'm trying to build and trying to get to the right thing. It's amazing that your mind sort of locks up. So I have 86% health here, so I'm actually going to use one of these three. Why not? I'm not very injured, but I'm also not the best player in the game, so if you have an opportunity to use this and heal up, use it. And then I'm gonna go and sneak in the door here and get that last med kit. But you've got to be careful sometimes when you're picking up med kits, and I know a lot of people will switch to their pick for picking up things like this because of what happens right here. So I actually lose my weapon, and I pick up the med kits. There are 2 left. One goes back into my inventory, and because there are more than I can carry, it drops my weapon. So that if you're running by, if you're caught in the storm or something, I've done this, where you'll pick something up, you'll run off, and then you'll realize, oh, I left my weapon, and you'll have to either go back or figure it out, or you know, you're out in the open. That's an opportunity for somebody to attack you or surprise you. You just have to watch your back the entire time during this game, because you've only got the one life. Because I was shot at by that other player, I decided that I was gonna take off to the side here. And usually, if somebody shoots at me and they disappear, I don't really want to follow them until I kill them. Because the thing is, if they've surprised me and they run around a corner, they are now waiting for me. If I'm going to be the aggressor, and some people are great at this. Some people will run up, they'll you know, throw a smoke, they'll build up, and you know what? That's just not how I play the game. I'm much better off just kind of keeping on the move, you know. So here I decide that this is going to be a good space. If you can possibly always take the high ground, you're going to want to. It really does make a difference. But I'm guilty of not always taking the high ground every time, and especially I'll start fighting somebody and I'll realize, you know what, I should have taken the high ground. But moral of the story, take the high ground. Now, where does this guy come from? I look all around, I turn around, and this guy's coming out of nowhere. Where did he come from? Did anybody see? Because I've rewound the video, I'm running around, no idea where he came from. So we're down to less than 10 people here, and what I like to do sometimes is just close off people's access to being able to just walk directly up any of the ramps that I build. That's an easy way to do it, just put up a couple of platforms up. I'm a little bit worried about this base too, because it's already existing. I'm assuming that the guy that I just killed was in a firefight, and that was an old base, but you never know. And always be sure to check these bushes too. If you get a lock on, you know that somebody's there if your weapon ceases to move like it usually does. Your weapon will auto-lock on people, so that's an easy way to check a bush without shooting it and giving away your position. A lot of people like to just shoot the bush too, and they find out one way or another. Here, I'm just kind of checking all around to see bases and see where people are at. And I decide, you know what? I'm going to build a giant wall and just kind of deter people from trying to come up here and storm my castle. So I start building a wall. I start building a platform. This just makes it so that people will have to build further out or build more. So if you build a platform like this, they're going to have to build from a further distance to make the height that it'll take to get to the edge of your platform. So, you know, I'm just building it a little bit out just to discourage people from kind of coming up quickly behind me. You never want somebody to be able to sneak up on you. So the other thing about these bases that seem to be abandoned, if they are abandoned, then somebody's going to take it over. And you can see a base out there in the distance. It's always a concern, and you can see here's somebody, they just decided to come on out and join the party, and I'm going to watch them build up here a little bit and see if I can land a snipe on them. And you know what? And you know, the thing is, that shot looked so good. I don't know what happened there. So I'm just going to build a few things. He's got a rocket launcher, and this is something that you want to be careful with. So you don't know how many rockets somebody has, and usually they'll shoot 2 rockets and then get out their sniper rifle and wait for that wall to come down and see if they can get off a sniper shot at you. But he's decided that he's going to hide, which is something interesting. I'm not sure what he's doing, maybe healing up. So I'm just going to continue to build. I know he's got that rocket launcher, so I just want to give him something to blow up that isn't actually me. So the interesting thing that's going to happen here is, and this happens every time that a firefight starts, somebody else is sneaking around the back, and they're going to go ahead and start to shoot at somebody. If it's not you, that's great, and that's what happens here. And, you know, I just decide I'm going to start shooting this base and see if I can waste some of these little bullets. Usually somebody will start rebuilding right away, and that's what you can see here. There's a lot of action when you're trying to take down somebody's fort, so you have to be careful and check your back constantly, because someone will sneak up on you if you're unloading all of your ammo. So you can see I'm just swinging around, checking things out, reloading, and then I'm gonna lose some of these little bullets. And, you know, if you hit the top of your own fort, sometimes it's fine. It's cool because you can see through those bricks. And usually I won't repair it unless it gets really bad. You can see through the bricks, and then potentially you'll be able to snipe somebody or get your aim directly on somebody. So you can see somebody sneaks up from the side there, and lucky I land a couple of good shots on that person. I don't know where they go. At this point, there's 3 people, and I wasn't sure if he actually took out the person that I'd been fighting, but then this could be that same guy, and or Mr. Number 3 shows up. But, you know, this Scar is so good that it's difficult to go up against it with any other weapon. And you can tell it's just, the shots are right on. Every time I get one of these, I think, okay, well, here we go. Because if you don't have it, then what you're going to find somebody that has the Scar, and it's going to be better than yours, and off you go. Every shot you take is going to be, you know, not as powerful in comparison to this particular weapon. So I'm looking all over for this guy. I have no idea where he is. It's getting smaller, and I'm a little worried that he's trying to sneak up on me, but usually you get to the end of the game here, and you've got somebody who's just sneaking around. They've been sneaking around the entire game. They're hiding in bushes. Why do people hide in bushes? I'll stop in a bush to have a potion. I'll stop in a bush to heal up, but people sit in a bush for the entire game. So 20 minutes sitting in a bush, I have no idea how people manage to have that much patience. I can't do it. It's fun if you can sneak up on somebody in a bush, but it's just something that takes I mean, I want to be running around, jumping around, shooting people, getting shot at. That's the name of this game. So you can see I'm just trying to see if somebody's hiding under this base. Maybe they are. I'm not sure. I'm trying to check. Usually people will hide very close to the bottom of bases. So I'm always checking around corners just to see. You never know. Let's get rid of those trees. People like to sit under trees and bushes. But as this shrinks now, it's so lucky that I'm standing right in the final ring. Usually this doesn't happen to me. Typically, I am the one that needs to move, but I've got here the upper ground. I've got a launch pad in case I want to do something fancy, which I'm really thinking about. And I've got the best weapon in the game, in my opinion. So, you know, we're ready to rock and roll. I don't, at this point, and sometimes I get surprised, you know. I'll think, you know what, I've got this one in the bag. It's gonna be an easy win, and then out of nowhere, something crazy happens, and once again, I'm left with my jaw on the floor, like, how? Everything, I had everything, you know, but, you know, it happens, and there you can see, finally, I see him sneak out of there, and just, you cannot take somebody on if they've got the height advantage on you. So, it was a fun game. I hope you enjoyed. We'll have some more